What started off as me finding a nice pistol done by NAVI turned into actually finding out that FURIA had quite clearly anti-stratted it. So this actually starts off with 2 players doing set smokes, which you can see here, with 3 players going through Palace. The smokes land towards jungle and connector, and then they flash the players out of Palace. However, you can clearly see this has not been actually executed in the way you'd expect. There was a smoke on default, which was put down by Art as a way of disrupting the strategy. So in this case, he's able to delay a lot of time where they can actually get the rotates in, and effectively have 5 players on the bomb site by the time he actually drops. I thought this was quite an interesting way because we can actually show NAVI executing, which I think is a good execute, and then also how to beat it, which is quite a unique perspective to have. So we're going to fly through each player's POV just so you can see exactly what they do. So Bit is one of the 3 players going through Palace, and he has armor with his Glock, and he is actually going to be the second player out behind Perfecto. So Perfecto has a Glock as well, whereas Simple, the other man in Palace, has a P250, so he'll be taking the long range battles. Bit is one of the 2 players actually jumping out fully, as we'll see here, and he has a lot more success compared to Perfecto, who gets stuck and actually dies pretty much immediately. Bit will be able to get 1 kill, but he will be traded afterward. Second up is Boombl4, so he's actually one of the players throwing the smoke. So his smoke's quite an interesting lineup because you line up with the pillar and then you line up with an actual bar showing across there and you slow walk through it. You might need to practice this one quite a bit, but you can see in the top right in a few seconds how it lands. After throwing the smoke, you actually line up a flashbang, and that was quite a simple lineup, really nothing special. Boombl4 in this actual round is the longest survivor, and it's not even a case of him not getting in there and trying to get the kills, it's just a case of his teammates falling around him. Which means that it's kind of an awkward few, 20 seconds or so, because he is just shooting a lot of stray Glock bullets, not really landing any shots, and in the end he gets backed up all the way into ramp, and eventually they push into him. Third up is Perfecto. As I mentioned, he is one of the players going through Palace, and he has a very unfortunate jump out, but you can see what he was trying to do. So of course you're going to be walking from the steps, and then when the flash is actually going to go off, you are going to jump and strafe around to the left and hopefully land towards fire. However, obviously, as I mentioned, he doesn't quite make the jump and instead it gets taken down. The fourth player shown is Simple, so not shown in this POV is actually him getting dropped a P250, and as I mentioned before, he stays in the actual Palace and takes a lot of the long range battles, because due to that connector smoke they can't jump on the box and fight him, they have to go on the stairs, and then also there is jungle smoke, which means they have to slightly push in front of it, meaning he actually has a pretty good chance at taking them down. Unfortunately for him though, not many of his actual bullets were landing in this instance, and there was a lot of shoulder peeking, which was actually done very, very well by FURIA. They knew not to give him too many chances to get kills, and instead just battered him down and slowly got the headshot. Electronic is the other player who throws the smoke, so you'll see his lineup's quite straightforward. You just walk into the actual wood and then aim at the top of the chimney. So nothing too complex. It's a jump throw from here as well, so you'll need to make sure you have your jump bind handy. And he actually has 2 flashbangs as well. So a simple jump throw, and then you'll see in the top right where that smoke lands. His 2 smokes, or his 2 flashes rather, they're not used in a very specific manner. I think it's more of a case of, if they get out, he might flash CT later on. He actually flashes default for Bit to peek with it in this instance, and then he uses one towards CT, which, if I'm perfectly honest, it doesn't actually do anything in this round. There's nobody CT, like, it does literally nothing. So now we're starting on the FURIA players' POVs, just so you can see what they were doing on the other side of the map. So we'll start with KSCERATO. So he's actually in mid window right now, and he will jump into underpass just because they know it's actually going to be a plan towards A, but they're going to guarantee it by clearing towards B. But even before they've cleared towards B, they actually get the sound cues and are ready to rotate, and it's actually a pretty damn quick rotate. They're player on short, 2 underpass. They're already 5A after 10 seconds of that execute happening. KSCERATO's involvement in this round is basically just being in between the smokes, being a nuisance more or anything, and also then just annoying Simple, shoulder peeking him constantly, and eventually he gets the kill. After getting the Simple kill, he stands at the top of the stairs and makes sure that Boombl4 does not escape the ramp. Next up is VINI. So again, he is actually one of the players not on the A site, and he actually goes towards B. So he's the player that we just saw jump off of short, and he's more or less just listening for sound cues right here. Because this is a typical role where you actually, if you're a B short player, you tend to sit around here just listening a lot of the time, especially on pistol rounds, just for a late burst or anything like that. But the execute call comes through, and then he actually relocates. However, instead of going towards connector with his 2 teammates, he decides, I'll go towards jungle just so we have a bit more of a spread on the 3 of us rotating. This was a very good move because then he could actually check towards stairs or over towards the Tetris box, but as well as that, he actually lands a really nice shot on Electronic, who's wide swinging. Later on in the round, he will actually push Boombl4 into the ramp alongside yuurih. So Art is the player that really throws a spanner in the works when it comes to this strategy for NAVI, because as you can see, he is already ready just to put a smoke down here. Like, Junior is not peeking. Like, this is literally, we know they're not going to contact up or anything. I'm just going to hold a smoke out. As soon as their smokes start coming in, I'm putting it down and I'm just being a nuisance. And that he is, right? He peeks right over this box and he actually gets a free kill on Perfecto. And even beyond that, he's just very annoying. Like, he's quite unlucky to not get the kill when he jumps up. And Bit and him just exchange blows, jump shotting back and forth. So now Junior's perspective, like I said, he does not peek from triple. He actually just goes right up to the box, stays tucked in for very, very long in this round, and essentially just tries to play the bait that is just R, and then he peeks after a while. But he only gets the 1 kill, which you could say, you know, unfortunate, probably should have got more. But that's kind of his job done, really. The team's already here, and they know there's nobody towards sight. So as you see here, he's actually going to trade Art as well in this instance, because Bit will get the jumping kill, and Junior will peek to a sandwich, you'll see a player, and then he'll actually peek default kill Bit, but then overextend to the left again. yuurih's the final player we're going to show as well. He is the other player that was with KSCERATO in the mid window, who will eventually push underpass. So again, it's a case of they get towards the bottom of underpass and then hear the rotate cues, and they just get moving, really. Like, that's all you need to do in this instance. You just keep moving. And then, as we saw from other people's perspectives, yuurih actually is the player that gets the final kill of the round. But considering he gets dinked in that instance, it's kind of surprising to see how aggro he was. It just shows the teamwork and like trust a lot of them have like in this team. And it's actually really nice to see, and I'm really glad that this video actually turned out like this, where we're able to see a strategy brand by NAVI be anti-stratted and but see both perspectives.